It's Monday, February 13th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show for you today. We're going to start off the program talking with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo-Brown. She's going to join us live in studio. We're going to find out why it's so important to fill out your annual census form with Town Clerk Ann Quirk. And we'll chat with Cape Cod Community College Communications Director Michael Gross on this episode of Barnstable Today. Now let's get a look at today's top headlines. Liquor stores could soon be able to sell alcohol before noon on Memorial Day. Right now, license holders are prohibited from selling alcohol on Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and before noon on Memorial Day. The proposal would simply remove the Memorial Day restriction. The licensing authority will hold a public hearing on that proposal today. The licensing authority meets this morning at 9:30 in the Town Hall hearing room. The Committee to Assess Homelessness will hear from Cape Cod Regional Transit Administrator Tom Kerr. Kerr will talk about services available through the CCRTA. Also on the agenda is a discussion with Town Manager Mark Ells about Cape Cod healthcare expanding to the Lower Cape. The Homelessness Committee meets at 6 tonight in the Selectmen's Conference Room. The Barnstable School Committee will get a first look at the proposed FY18 school budget this week. Deputy Finance Director Gareth Markwell will present the proposed budget along with Superintendent of Schools Meg Mayo-Brown. Also on the agenda is further discussion of ending class rank at Barnstable High School. The school committee will meet Tuesday, February 14th in the Town Hall hearing room at 7. Well, a note from Marine and Environmental Affairs office staff, renewal season is nearing the deadline. Marina waiting list renewals and mooring permit waiting lists must be returned by February 15th. Both of those must be received at the Harbor Master's office by 4:15. Mooring permit renewals must be returned by February 28th. Those must be received at the Harbor Master's office by 4:15. Up next, we're going to chat with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo-Brown. And you're watching Barnstable Today, of course. Joining us now live in studio, Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo-Brown. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Sarah. It's great to be here.
You know, one of the things I want to talk to you about, and I'm sure so many people have discussions about this, when winter storms come, when is the decision made as to when to cancel or if we should cancel? I know you had to cancel a day last week. How is that determination made?
So you're talking about that four-letter word, snow.
Yeah.
Yes. So we canceled twice last week, and that decision is sometimes it's made the day before. It depends on the forecast. It depends on what we believe the road conditions are. So it's done in consultation with town offices, specifically DPW and Dan Santos. Safety is always our first priority, so we want to make sure that our buses and families can be out on the roads safely. So that decision sometimes, you know, again, last week we were able to announce in the evening, which I prefer to do because it allows for our families to make those plans for the next day. And sometimes, like last night, I was up at 4:30 this morning talking to folks saying, do we do a 2-hour delay? What is it looking like? So it's really done on a case-by-case basis.
It's so tough too, I think, because sometimes we never really know what's going to happen. Right. I think so many people were expecting more snow than we ended up getting overnight. So it seems like the winds are still there, but it didn't quite see the snow total.
So this morning we thought, let's get everybody in. We looked at the forecast. I spoke to Sandy Gifford, who is our transportation director. Spoke to Dan Santos yesterday. He said, you know what, we're going to be out treating the roads in the wee hours of the morning. I think it'll be fine in the morning. So we went with that. And we also have a text chat group with surrounding superintendents. So I know some were doing a 2-hour delay. But again, we felt let's get everybody in and have a regular day.
Yeah, so information on a lot of fronts. You're getting information from a lot of sources before you make those big decisions.
And we plan for those snow days in June. We create a calendar that builds in 5 snow days. So right now, instead of getting out June 16th, we're now getting out June 21st. So we've got a little bit of leeway.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And it's just that's how it is, right? We live in New England.
We do. As my son, who attends Barnstable High School, had about 30 text messages from friends last night wondering if mom was going to cancel school. And I said, you know what? This is New England. This is winter.
Poor
and,
kid.
Right.
That poor kid. Yeah, I think my daughter might have been texting him, actually. Let's go ahead and talk about the budget. This was actually a meeting that was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, but with weather and other things, it had to be canceled twice. So this is going to happen this week. The school committee is going to see the first presentation of the FY18 budget.
That's right. Last week, the budget was presented at, the school committee had a workshop meeting for school leadership, school council members. That was open to the public, but it was the first presentation to principals and school council members. This is a more formal presentation at the February 14th school committee meeting. So our finance director, Gareth Markwell, will present what things are looking like in terms of projection for next year. It does look like, our arrangement with the town is any new revenue is split 60-40, with the schools receiving 60% of new revenue, and I think that's a terrific working relationship with the town to know that in advance, because it allows us to plan our budget accordingly. So those slides will be presented tomorrow night. I know they'll be up on the website for folks to take a look at. The school committee certainly encourages public participation in our budget process. We have some big ticket items this year in terms of transportation costs, which have gone up, as well as healthcare costs and some other items. So when all is said and done, principals would like to do many more things in their schools, but unfortunately, we don't have, as I often say to Gareth, where's the money tree on the green out there?
Right.
So, right.
Don't we wish we had one?
So we have to be very aligned with our district priorities, as well as focusing on what's occurring in the classroom. That's where the money needs to go.
When is that public comment a good time? Is it this meeting where people see that first presentation of the budget? Is that when they could weigh in?
It certainly could be. There's multiple opportunities. There's always public input prior, as the first part of a school committee meeting. We encourage the public to come out at that point. The school committee will hold an actual public hearing on the budget, which is another opportunity for folks to come out and comment. And again, I know the school committee is very committed to listening to the public around the budget process.
Great, very exciting stuff. I know another thing on the school committee agenda for this week is class rank. And actually, Principal Patrick Clark has been up speaking to the school committee about this. He really wants to be careful that kids are not overloading their schedules. We know there's going to be an addition of another block or another schedule, or another class added to their schedule.
Yes.
So when they add that class, I think his concern is that kids are going to pick another AP class or another really tough class just to boost their GPA.
Yes.
So that's his concern. Where are we in the process now?
So Principal Clark presented at last month's school committee meeting around the idea of eliminating class rank. And he'll be up again this week, and then a third time in March before the school committee decides one way or the other. But I think the benefits of his proposal includes creating opportunities for students to take a variety of courses. Right now, because of class rank, students may not be choosing to take some electives because they don't really count toward class rank. But more importantly, we know from college admissions officers that they no longer review class rank. It's not in their decision-making process. So we wonder, what sense does it make for our students to continue to have a system in place that means very little in terms of applying to colleges. And colleges are looking for students who engage in a well-rounded curriculum, have extracurricular activities, have things outside of academics. And by eliminating the class rank, we feel like that'll open up our opportunities for students to explore other things in high school in the curriculum.
Yes, so important, I think, to have that well-rounded experience in education. And also, I do see teens stressing themselves out, so very important to make sure that we're not overloading them, or trying to encourage them to take another light course,
exactly,
something they can enjoy and learn and who knows, maybe they'll find a passion.
Well, I think high school's an opportunity to really take advantage of finding out what your talents and interests are and taking courses in those. And with the new, hopefully there'll be a new schedule in the 2018-19 school year that will include some semesterized courses that could allow students to take, 1, 2, or even 3 electives of interest to them. And again, when we take class rank out of the picture, I think it really opens up doors for students at the high school.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for stopping by this
Yeah,
morning.
my
We
pleasure.
really appreciate it and look forward to chatting with you again in the near future.
Thank you, Sarah.
Our guest today, of course, Superintendent of Schools Meg Mayo-Brown. Up next, we're going to learn why it's so important to turn in that annual census form with Town Clerk Ann Quirk. So, Anne, a lot of people have had trouble sometimes when they go to the polls because they maybe didn't fill out their census. This is actually a really important thing that everybody in the town of Barnstable needs to do. Your office just sent them out. What do we need to know about this year's census?
What's so important, Sarah, is that without filling this out and sending it in, you're affecting a lot of different areas in the town. First and foremost, for us, it's the voter registration information system. It's what keeps us active as voters. We do have those voters who only come out every 4 years, and there's always a wait or a lag in time, and they have to fill out forms, and they have to prove who they are and that they still live here. This prevents that. It's just a yearly thing that we need.
Now, but that said, you cannot change your party affiliation on this form. So if that's an issue for you, you should go to the town clerk's office for that. That's something you can't change on this form. But pretty much everything else you can update: your address, your profession, where you live. So this is when you need to make the changes.
Absolutely. And the reason that you can't change your party affiliation is because we have to have that on the card that we keep in a drawer in my office. So that has to be signed by you. So that's something I can't change until you come in and see us individually, or fill out a card yourself, or go online to sec.ma.us.
Perfect. So
And
that's where you would go to change your
Absolutely.
party affiliation. But it's still important, even if someone doesn't have any changes, even if everything stays the same, their profession, their address, everything is the same, you still need to sign that form and return it.
Absolutely. That's what keeps you updated, so we can update our systems. And it's very simple. It's a quick fix for us, but it keeps you updated so that when things come along in life, like for instance, we need to know if there's new babies in town, because that's going to impact the school department. They need to know what to look for the next year's classes coming in. The other people that it affects is when you do that welcome home bonus as a veteran. The only way we can verify that you were living in the town of Barnstable before you went into the service is by going back and looking at those records, and we keep them.
So important on many, many different levels. You're voting, the school system uses it, Veterans Department uses it. So a lot of departments are relying on this information. That's why it's so important.
Absolutely.
Are there any frequent mistakes that people make when they fill out their census form?
Actually, it's pretty simple. What will happen to us occasionally, which is why we've asked for telephone numbers this year, is that people will split up. And it happens, it happens to everyone. So we need to know who's living where. And if that information is not clear, we're not sure if the children are with this person, or if the children are with the father, or the children are with the mother. We need to know, because it kind of puts the kids out into Never Never Land. So that is one of the common mistakes that happens.
Interesting. So if you have recently divorced or separated, very important to correct that and make sure it specifies which address the children are living.
Yes.
And where everyone is.
Correct. That's a real big issue for us.
Is there a time limit? Do we have to have it returned by a certain date?
We have to have published information for the state by the beginning of June every year. So we have to be able to make up our list of persons And that's part of this Massachusetts general law that we fall under. So the list of persons has to be ready to go by the 1st of June, and so we need them back as soon as possible.
Yeah, so don't let that sit on your countertop for a while. This is one of those important ones.
Just mail it in or drop it off.
Yeah, exactly. You can mail it in, or if you're here in Town Hall or downtown Hyannis, you can just drop it off at the clerk's office.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to remind people about?
Pretty soon we're going to have the Barnstable's Best Dog is coming up. So we'll be looking for your application for your dog tag along with a picture of your dog if you want to add them to the list of who can be Barnstable's Best Dog, because we'll put them up on a bulletin board at the town clerk's office starting April 1st. The dog tags, we'll start mailing those out by May the 6th. But we need to know if you want to have your dog in that contest, and that's coming up. It's right around the corner.
I'm excited to hear that it's right around the corner, because that, for me, that signifies the spring is coming, and we're almost done with winter, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you, Anne, for stopping by and telling us everything we need to know about the census and upcoming renewal for dog licenses. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our guest today, of course, Town Clerk Anne Quirk. Joining me now over the phone is Cape Cod Community College Communications Director Michael Gross. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. February is a special month, and I didn't know this before you sent this information to me, but it is actually National Children's Dental Health Month.
It is, and here at the college we have, of course, had a final dental hygiene program for years and years. It's very, very likely that if you're at the dentist's office anywhere in this region, you're being treated by one of our dental hygienists, our wonderful technicians, and it's a very important thing for them, because dental health for children is the key for all of this. I realize it sounds almost too cliched. Everybody knows it. But in all honesty, many times parents are not taking their children to the dentist. And I suppose if I were a very young child and I'm in the middle of a big doctor's office with all kinds of adults, somehow maybe that's not a very comfortable place. We have a phenomenal clinic that's run by a bunch of wonderful young people who love children. And we're offering some amazing opportunities for parents to bring their children this month for a couple of different services, one of which is a full cleaning. There will be exams by dentists. There are all kinds of treatments and sealant care given. And these happen in February 21, 22, and 23. I mention them now so that people can get the appointments made and get their young people. And this is school vacation week for pretty much the Cape region. So these are appointments at 9 and 11 and 1:30 and throughout the day, so that it could be something that people could bring their young people to. Just before that, on Thursday the 16th, and here again, that's coming up this coming week, this Thursday, we're offering sealant treatments for anyone ages 6 to 18. In today's world, the technology has gotten so incredible that we're really able to seal the teeth away from those cavities long before they begin to form. And we're offering free clinic for young people aged 6 to 18. It's in the evening on the 16th, 4, 5, and 6 o'clock appointments. And what you'll have is an exam by one of our dental hygienists, supervised by a dentist right there, one of our dental hygiene professional staff. They'll make sure the teeth are all clean. They'll make sure that there aren't any issues that need to be dealt with first. And then they literally will seal cavity away from the teeth. Almost 60% of the cavities can be avoided this way.
Isn't that
and
amazing?
It's free.
I was just going to say that, Michael. I think that's one of the greatest things about this program is that it is free and you're getting quality care.
Oh, without a doubt. These are all supervised by dentists who are volunteering their time to help our students, and they will very carefully themselves examine your teeth. You're not in any way getting any kind of less of a care because you happen to be coming into the Wilkins Family Clinic. It's in the lower level of our Wilkins building. It's state-of-the-art. It's beautiful.
It is
Some
gorgeous.
years ago, we had it renovated. It's amazing. And by the way, we provide enormous services for adults as well. One of the things that I don't think is all that well known is that almost all the services that you can get, other than pretty complex dentistry, you literally can get in our clinic for very, very little money. And we bring adults in, we go through teeth that maybe it's been a while since you've been in a dental chair. We understand that. And the technicians get great instruction, and you're helping them as much as they are you. And there again, the dollars are so little. You don't need insurance. You literally can come in and say, look, I need these teeth cleaned. I need some help. I need x-rays. We do dental x-rays of all different kinds, very, very inexpensively.
Yeah, and that can be very costly.
Oh, they certainly can.
Especially if you don't have dental insurance.
No, absolutely true. Admittedly, our students certainly need the instruction and training, but at the same time, all of this care is being immediately supervised by our professional faculty and dentists, so that you're not just sent off with a young student and hope things go well. That's not it at all. It's amazing the kind of supervision and training and care you get for really pennies on the dollar, much, much less than you would expect to pay in regular commercial dentistry. Our clinic would love to have you call. I mean, it's simple enough. The extension is 4371, so that if you were to call the college and ask for 4371, you'll get our clinic. Our students, again, young clinic this coming 21, 22, 23, all kinds of services during Dental Health Month for young people. And the sealant clinic on the 16th, very, very important to get those teeth clean and sealed up so that you can prevent the problems. Much better to prevent them than have to treat them.
Isn't that right?
You know, and it's such a fun place. I mean, I realize there are an awful lot of people, and I'll raise my hand in being one of them. A dental chair isn't the most favorite place in the world to be, and yet the young people are, and I say that young people, I guess I'm getting them an age, but our students are so full of energy. They have such wonderful smiles. They want you. You're really helping them. They must have X number of hours working with patients. So you're actually helping them to graduate, and they love to see you. So I hope people will call, extension 4371.
It's such a win-win. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today, telling us all about it. We really appreciate it, and look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Fantastic. Bye-bye now.
Bye. My guest today, of course, Cape Cod Community College Communications Director Michael Gross. Now let's find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. Well, you can stretch, improve your balance, and build strength with a free chair yoga class at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. Yoga Neighborhood hosts that free class in the Shepley Room every Wednesday morning from 10 to 11. All ages and abilities are welcome. The Cotuit Library will help kids understand the basics of coding with a coding camp over February vacation. Kids can learn how coding works, the language it speaks, and how to create code themselves during the week-long camp. Camp will be held Tuesday, February 21st through Friday, February 24th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. daily. The camp is free to attend. Attendance is required for all 4 days. Space is limited to 8. Call the Cotuit Library to sign up. Here's a look at this week's Board, Committee, and Commission meeting schedule. joining us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with another great show for you. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.